Welcome to another episode of the Sun Foundation's Clean Water Celebration, Clean Water Champions. Today, we meet an artist who has taken that old the 3 R's, recycle, reduce, reuse. She's taken it to a whole nother level with repurposing packaging to make fine art. How can we reduce our waste stream? How can we reduce the amount of waste that we produce and produce something beautiful? Jody Tockes is going to show us how.
Well, great. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to have fun doing some creative repurposing. So the problem from a science perspective that we're going to try to solve today is how we can creatively reuse paper packaging for food products and candy, and ask ourselves, what can we do to maybe create art or give another purpose to these boxes and bags and envelopes so that they don't go straight to the landfill. So we're going to do some creative repurposing, mainly collage is what you would call this form of medium. So this one that I'm going to demo today, and it's just a quick one, used to be the substrate, the canvas, if you will, that we're using is Reese's bunnies, chocolate bunnies from last year's Easter, and it worked out well because it had a nice light blue inside. So I'm going to make it into 3 little pieces that I'm going to create a collage, something like this. They'll all be just slightly different. It will have a growing theme, and we'll go with the poem that I'm writing. So one of the things that we've done at my studio over the years is we've encouraged reuse art at the Hive. We've written poetry, and there's always an environmental thread to it because I want people to look at art and then think of how can I create a message to make the world a better place. So today we're starting with this, and I've used parts from a Triscuit package, parts from a little bit of green, and what I do is I peel this off. I find a little layer here on a corner, and I peel the colored part off as so. So I'm kind of painting with paper. Usually I just paint with paint, but I like to reuse the paper. This was a shopping bag. This was a Reese's egg that was wrapped up in foil. Here is the inside of an envelope. And then for the soil in my little collage, I've used the brownies on the top of the box. So I've gotten together some glue and water. For my adhesive, I'm going to be working with a brush, reusing a cottage cheese lid to hold my glue. Got a toothpick, and we're good to go. So we'll find out a way to keep a lot of trash out of the landfill, make some cool gifts for people that we can give from what we've made. And then one of the problems that we're going to be also asking ourselves about is what science skills are we going to explore. We're going to get into just a little bit of thinking about the engineering of the boxes, maybe how they could have been made better. These are all questions I want you to ask yourself. One of the things that we can do is say, okay, how can we better create, say, a box like this so that it doesn't just, if we don't have time to use it for art, what can we do with it? If, say, that our community doesn't recycle, well, perhaps it could be used as a type of fuel. How would we do that? Ask yourselves how you would create a fuel out of a box. Is there something that we could amend the soil in some way using paper? How would we do that? Would we throw a box in there? Would we shred it? So start thinking of the different things we can do with our packaging besides art. But today I'm excited about the art. So I'm starting with the light blue inside of the Reese's package, and I've taken a little bit of Triscuit package, peeled the top part off here, and I've glued it already on here for like the first step. That's what I did first. And then for the second one, you can see I've added a couple of other things to it. I've added a piece of the brown brownie, and that would get glued on here for the soil. My grandsons want to plant a garden, so I'm going to be giving these little collages to them. I have taken part of the green shopping bag, cut it into leaves, and then also part of a holiday nut package, and cut it into some leaves as well. So we have where sunlight would be hitting it, lighter leaves, and the darker leaves for the shadows. And then the next little part that we add to it is the envelope. A little piece of the envelope will be gluing up here. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to put a little bit of this water and glue mixture, paint it on the back here, glue it on. I'm not going to worry about being perfect because we will end up trimming this at the end. And then we're going to add some leaves. If you notice, the nuts and the brownies look sort of like little seeds that could have been planted. So the next thing I'm going to do is stick these leaves on here. And if I was doing this not with you today, it might take a little bit longer. I'd spend a little bit more time on it, be a little more precise. I'm not going to worry so much about that though today. Some other things I want you to focus on as far as a call to action. What can we do? How can we creatively reuse packaging? I've also taken boxes and made them into pencil holders, paintbrush holders. You can do a variety of things with packaging, but I want you to come up with some other creative ways to do that in your classroom. Some other things that we can think about is what bad ramifications packaging has. These are mainly paper, mainly aluminum. These don't generally get recycled. The paper, however, can, but about 12 to 15% of landfills are filled with paper. So we need to work on that problem and address it. To kind of sum everything up, what can you do to actually take a step as to promoting environmental responsibility? You can think about purchasing products that have been packaged responsibly from certain companies, and maybe perhaps boycott other companies that don't consider negative ramifications that they are having on the environment. So if you have any questions, you can always contact me, and I would be happy to come up with some other entertaining lessons that perhaps you could use in your classroom. I do that quite often when I work with teachers and students.
Isn't that amazing, the kind of stuff that she creates using what some would consider as garbage? At her studio, The Hive, she teaches lots of classes on how to do some of these kinds of things. But if you emulate this, think about things before you throw them away. Where is away? What can you do with those things to make something beautiful? And repurpose, as well as recycle, reduce, reuse. And if so, you too can be a clean water champion.